You can quickly clean up your podcast audio in just a couple of minutes with a few plugins. First, let's listen to this raw track.
So it started with me.
I hear that there's a lot of noise, there's a good amount of reverb, so the first thing we'll do is do some noise and reverb reduction. For this, I start with DX Revive Pro.
So it started with me. I was very...
That sounds better, but let's try to make it a little bit better with some EQ. For that, I'll bring up the Sonable Smart EQ, which uses machine learning to suggest a good EQ curve. So we'll go speech high. Now we hit the train button. So now let's listen back to it with the EQ.
So it started with me. I was very, I would say, high needs baby.
So that's sounding better, but let's try to address the dynamics. So let's bring in some compression. Again, another Sonable Smart plugin. This time it's the Smart Comp 2. It's the same process. Tell it what type of audio we're working with, train it. And the last step in the compressor is to turn on input writing, which essentially tells the plugin to try to keep the input signal at a relatively constant level. Now let's listen back to it and listen to how much more steady or consistent the volume is on her dialogue.
So it started with me. I was very, I would say, high needs baby. You know, if my mom tells everybody my story.
By compressing it, we've brought up the noise on the track again. So for that, I'll use Isotope RX voice denoise. This is my default starting point. So I reduced the reduction from 15 dB to 8. The reason is we want to use only as much as we need with the plugin like this, because higher settings will do more damage. But let's listen back to this to hear how much better it sounds.
So it started with me. I was very...
Let's do a before and after.
So it started with me. I was very, I would say, high needs baby. You know, if my mom tells everybody my story,
It's not perfect because we're starting off with a very imperfect recording. We could probably spend a little extra time trying to remove some of the resonance in here, but in my mind, it really isn't worth it because we're only going to make it sound maybe 5% better.